Back here on KNBR, John Dickinson, our Warriors training camp special, and it's a pleasure to be joined by one of the newest members of the Golden State Warriors. It's Kyle Anderson. Kyle, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, first of all, what has this week been like in particular? Just coming over here, I mean, how does it rank as opposed to maybe some other training camps throughout the course of your career?
I think this is probably number one. I think this is probably the best training camp I ever had. We've worked hard this whole week. Practice going really well, but then just to, explore the great state of Hawaii, and stay at the beautiful resort we were at, and go to the beach and things like that. It was beautiful.
You think there's an added benefit to having a little bit of a laid-back atmosphere, but also knowing, hey, this is like a real week of a lot of hard work?
Definitely. I think it's a business approach in the morning, and after we're done with camp, we get to go lay on the beach or lay by the pool and do what we do. So there's no complaints coming from me.
Who do you think has enjoyed the week after practice the most in your mind? Like who's made the most of being over here?
I'll probably say Dre. Every time I go down there, Dre's down there enjoying the amenities of the hotel and doing what he does.
What's it like? You mentioned Dre, and what's it like being on the team with Draymond Green and being on the team with Stephen Curry as somebody who's had playoff battles against those two and had success against them?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome just to see how they do things. Like I kind of made the correlation of them and Tim, Tony, and Manu. Just being around those guys and seeing how they do things, and it's very similar, very attention to detail, and it's no reason. There's no secret on why they have success. Like they just do what they do. They do it really well.
Do you believe in the winning player? Do you believe in the term winning player?
For sure, 100%.
Do you think what do you think it says both about your desire to come play for the Warriors, but their desire as somebody that has gone up against you in playoff series, that they say, hey, this guy fits what we do?
Yeah, I think it's just a mutual respect. I mean, like you said, we've had a lot of playoff battles, and we've come close to beating them. And I'm thinking that 2022 series, just by a few plays, the series could have went a different way. But, I obviously admire what they've done from afar, and I think, the effort they've seen and, our wins and losses against the Warriors, they've recognized what I bring to the table as well. So it's pretty cool to come together.
Yeah, and you and D'Anthony Melton, I mean, just that series was that I've covered a bunch of the playoff series. I mean, that series was as wild and intense and rowdy, and especially the games in Memphis,
right.
Whereas that felt like old school Oracle in that building. Like it brought a great vibe. Have you got a chance? Do you talk to D'Anthony all like we're over on the other side now, or is it? Because that was only 2 years ago. Like I had to think. Like it seems like it was a long time ago.
It does, but it was only 2 years ago. No, me and Mount haven't talked much about it, but everybody around here has let us know how happy they are to have us over here, and they've welcomed us with open arms. So, it's pretty cool to join the other side.
You've discussed your shot a lot, right? Maybe making a little bit of a tweak. You've had success at points. Maybe you're trying to rebound a little bit from an off year, from what your standard is. What went into thinking things needed to be tweaked, and what was the process as far as tweaking it?
I don't think things needed to be tweaked or anything. I just needed to spend time in the gym and work really hard and be healthy first and foremost. And whenever I'm healthy, I'm gonna have good summers in the gym. I'm gonna work really hard. This is my job, so I take it very seriously. And like I said, this summer I was able to spend a lot of time in the gym and work on my shot.
Do you see already where you fit in terms of just the positionless basketball, but just the ability to pass a little bit and defend multiple positions and spots on the floor where you're going to get looks that make yourself comfortable? Has that been a seamless transition to this point, or are you still kind of figuring it out?
A little bit of both. Still got to figure it out, but it's pretty cool to be on the court with other high IQ guys. And when you're on the court and you're out there and all five are on the same page, I mean it's just makes my job and everybody else's job a lot easier. So I've really enjoyed that this past week.
Have you studied the way, I mean, playing against them obviously, but the way Draymond and Steph specifically are just kind of interconnected? It's almost at times like they share a brain on the floor, and you've tried to defend it. But you also have made a point about the skill set that you have that can be similar to Draymond. Coach Kerr mentioned that.
Yeah.
From an offensive standpoint, do you kind of watch Draymond and see yourself in ways that he can get Steph open and Steph can get open around him, and that being something you can do?
Definitely, and Loon as well. I mean, Loon has been here for, 9, 10 years. He's still filling me in on things and ways I can get guys open or how we can get into our offense and things like that. So, everyone that's been here, I want to pick their brain and try to get a better understanding.
What's stood out, or who has stood out? Has anybody through 4 practices stood out like, wow, this dude, this dude's better than I thought, or this dude's better than he was, maybe?
I'm going to say Kevin Knox. He's been playing really well, even in, September, our open runs. He was playing really well then. And just here in this camp, he's making plays whenever he's out there. He's catching, shooting, he's getting to the rim. He looks really good.
What do you think of the balance between veterans and youth? There's been a lot of youth on this team brought in the last couple of years. I think there are some veterans, yourself and Buddy and Melton, brought in to kind of bridge it's Steph and Draymond, and then you got the young guys who are on the come. And I mean, how do you feel the balance is in terms of skill sets, but also, Brandon Pajemski said, hey, we've got vets and signed some vets, right, but it still has a young vibe. Do you feel that?
No, I feel that for sure. I think we all feel really good, and it is a good blend of, Steph and Dre, and then you got some younger guys who are ready to contribute, been working really hard, BP, Moses Moody, and then you got the tweeners like, me, Gary, Loon, who have been there before. We add a little bit of experience, and we can bring some youth here too.
So you're a Mets fan?
Correct.
So I got to ask you, yes, what was yesterday like? Because that is about as crazy a swing in a game. I think it was the latest clutch home run in a winner-take-all game ever. But you're like a legit Mets fan. Like Steph Curry said, he showed up at a game one time, and you were just happened to be there. But you're true season ticket holder, hanging out, enjoying your summer.
I'm not a season ticket holder yet, but I do plan on being one when I retire from the NBA. I've been going to games since Shea Stadium and Mike Piazza, and when they got to the Subway World Series in 2000, I became a big-time Mets fan at that moment. And as far as yesterday, I'm a little embarrassed to say this. In the 8th inning, I just went into the ocean. I watched the whole game on my phone at the beach, and then, it got hot. My wife was calling me, and I was kind of getting a little depressed. So I'm like, all right, look, I'm just going.
You didn't want to see the end.
I didn't want to see the ending. And even when I got back about 20 minutes later from coming from the water, I didn't even want to look at the MLB app.
Because you knew what was coming? You're like, Mets lose 2-0 or whatever.
I've been a Mets fan for a long time, and so I looked and it said Mets advanced to NLCS and NLDS, and I was like, I just was so excited. I was so happy. I watched the 8th and 9th inning over again. It was beautiful. Everybody did such a great job. The energy. It was a big opposite field home run, and Pete didn't have the best game. He hasn't been playing as well as he could, but for him to go opposite field and for us to take that lead like that was huge.
So you didn't want to see it, and you go down to the ocean, so you probably don't have your phone. No. You're like, I'm just going to accept whatever's going to happen, and somewhere you're out in the waves, and Pete Alonso goes deep. What incredible. Might be too new for this question, but did you know Brandon Pajemski's a huge Brewers fan?
I didn't know until about last week. I found out he was a big Brewers fan. I didn't know he was at all, though.
So no action, no trash talk today. Maybe no wager, but you found out quick enough to get the wager.
Not a whole lot of trash talk. He tipped his hat to us, and it was pretty cool. I don't think he was upset.
Incredibly, so a couple weeks ago, he went over to the ballpark. He went over to Oracle Park, and he was taking some BP. And he hit a home run. Yeah. How stunning is that? For just as an athlete to be able to do something like that.
That's super impressive. you know, I have a lot of friends who've played Division I baseball and who've, you know, had, you know, big time MLB dreams, and I don't think they can hit it out the park like that. Like that's big time.
So when's your run? You next year, April, you're going to get out there or no?
No, I was always a good fielder. I was terrible at hitting.
Kyle Anderson joining me here on KNBR. Kyle, really appreciate the time, my man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right.